Alright, in the latest versions of the Excel, they have also introduced some statistical charts. So we are not discussing all, we are discussing two. One, we have already done the frequency distribution and the histograms with the help of something we call the data analysis tool, where you can click on, already if you have the data, you have the bin, you can bring in the histogram and you can give you the frequency distribution and you can actually create the data and the chart also. But many times if you simplistically you need a histogram only without going into the frequency distribution table and etc. Excel has introduced the statistical chart. So you select all the data that you are having. It can be you okay. You can have any data, a series of data from maybe this is the age that we are talking about. You can go to simply Instagram, insert. You see here you have your so you can have an histogram. Directly you are getting an histogram. They have given the bifurcations. They have given everything. Right? You can right click. You can add levels. It will give you the levels also. That's made it much easier. So instantly, if you need a histogram without a frequency distribution table, you can get it. Also, you can have a cumulative percentage also at the event they have to show it. They will show you that cumulative effect also. So both the charts are available now. Directly can be inserted and implemented. All right. So normally what happens when we want to really statistically explain a data, first thing that we do, we call the descriptive analytics. So we know we can go to the data analysis, we can use the descriptive analytics to give an, mean, mode, median, kurtosis, skewness, everything can be calculated. Also, we can do a frequency distribution of the data. We can create a histogram of the data. Now, there is also something called the 5 number summary. 5 number summary of the data. The 5 number summary is normally we talk about the first quadrant, first quartile, we talk about the second quartile, right? We talk about the third quartile, and we talk about the minimum value, and we talk about the maximum value. We want to describe the data in these 5 parameters in a graphical visualization form. So to explain exactly what these quartiles are, so if I take this, suppose this is the range of the data that I have. Let us assume this is the range of the data. All right. So in the range of the data, we must have some medians. Medians means the mean value. That means if this is my median, let me bring in some shapes here to understand it. Suppose this is the median value. Okay. So this becomes my median. Suppose this is the maximum value that I am having. This is the minimum value that I am having. So this becomes your median. That means it divides the whole data into two parts. Okay. When it is sorted in a sequential order. Now you have the upper half, you have the lower half. So of course the upper half also will have a midpoint. Alright. And the lower half also will have a midpoint. So these are the 5 point summary that we are talking about. This is your maximum value. So this is they call the whisker. This part is the whisker, the upper limit. You don't have any data beyond that. You should not have any data beyond that. Or there is the lower limit you are talking about. And this is the quartile 1. This is quartile 2. Quartile 2 is nothing but your median and you have the quartile 3. So according to them, the critical mass that you have and the most important data is lying between your quartile 1 to quartile 3. So right now what we are looking at is called a box and whisker plot, which gives you the 5 point summary of the data, right? So this is the box, which is basically the your whole quartile 1 to quartile 2 data. So that is the box you are having, and you have the upper whisker, that is the maximum value. You have the lower whisker, that is the minimum value. That tells a lot of stories about the data and also very important in terms of data understanding and interpretation. All right. So of course, I can calculate the mean, I can calculate the quartiles mathematically. These are absolutely possible to do, and then I can plot it manually. But in the latest versions of the Excel, you have it inbuilt. So you select the data, you come to the insert, you know, In the statistical chart, you see you find the box and whisker plot. Okay. So now if I delete this so that viewing becomes easy, if I build the chart title, the viewing will become easy, right? Now see if I, correct. Now you right click here, you click on add level, right? And inner circle, let me actually change the color so that you can see it. So in the fill, I say no fill. Now see what it is talking about. It is talking about the series that you have, the maximum value is 65, minimum value is 12, your median is 39, your quartile 1 is 51, your quartile 3 is 27, and your average is around 38 point something something. So your main data is like from 27 to 51, which covers your quartile 1 to quartile 3, and this is your maximum limit, this is your minimum. Another thing that it does is it can very easily identify the outliers of the data. Outliers means some exceptional value which is not common to the behavior of the data but highly influencing the average, the parameters. It happens. So if one value I have of 100, let me see, which is your maximum, your value ranges from up to 65. One exceptional value I got 100. How the plotting will be done? Everything will change. All the parameters will change. You see, it has become 39, 27 to 51. It has become. But you see, it is showing 100 not within the whisker. So it is saying, okay, we have calculated the mean, mode, median, etc. But we have not included this 100 in your calculation. Your average has changed to 39. Median has changed, but maximum value we suggest you negate this value because this is an outlier, which is not the behavior of your data but influencing your data. So your analysis may be wrong. So it can help you identify any outlier that you have in your data, which is an exceptional value with high dispersion, which is the not common behavior of the data. The whisker plot can easily identify it, and you as an analyst can eliminate that data and start doing your business or convert it so you get a more accurate representation of the data. So this is called box and whisker plot. All right. So as soon as you remove that data, you know, your whole viewing will change. Okay. So again, let me do it. I come here, I come to the insert. You see now you got this data. Okay. 39, 51, 27, 12, 39. Now your average is 38. All right. As soon as you add an exceptional data, which is not the common behavior of it, it has changed. It kept it mean, median as is same, and it giving you a warning that this is an outlier, which is influencing your average, which was earlier 38 point something. Because of introduction of one data, it has become, there is a 1 point deviation, which is quite high looking at the data. So you may get a wrong interpretation. So this is called box and whisker plot. So these are the two new additions in terms of, we call the histogram. You can directly bring in, and you can always have a 5-point summary of the data. So whenever you basic data you want to represent statistically, you should bring in the descriptive statistics. You can frequency distribution, histogram, and box and whisker plot. That will actually describe the data beautifully. Thank you so much.